Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 39 of Minipod with me, Dave Jacobs of Small Church Pastor. No fluff, just good stuff in under 5 minutes, I promise you. Have you ever heard of Hans Fenzel? He was the executive director of CB International. This was a missionary sending and training agency of the Conservative Baptist Association. For 10 years, he trained pastors in Eastern Europe, and then he returned to America. And he contributed to a chapter in the book Leaders on Leadership, and that chapter was entitled Creating the Right Leadership Culture. And in this chapter, he said, the smaller the ego, the bigger the leader. You know, it's helpful to once in a while consider one's ego. But how do you do that, at least, objectively? What criteria do you use? Most of us, I hope, have enough self-awareness that we're not going to be consciously thinking, hey, I'm pretty great. I'm not like those other idiots. Now, on the other hand, perhaps it's possible to have an ego problem and not see it. Rather than focus on what a big ego looks like, I want to make some suggestions as to what a small ego might look like. And as I do so, reconsider your ego in the light of the following. So here are some signs of a small ego leader. Number one, they listen more than talk. Hans Fenzel said that effective leadership has more to do with listening than with talking. If you want to be a great leader, listen more than talk. Number two, small ego leaders, they draw attention to others, not themselves. I mean, have you ever known the type of person that when they enter into a room, everybody knows it? A small ego leader doesn't need the attention to be on them. Number three, small ego leaders, they welcome advice and correction. If you want to be a great leader, think of correction as a friend, even if the correction is inaccurate. Number four, small ego leaders, they are constantly complimenting and praising the accomplishments of others. If you want to be a great leader, compliment and praise those around you and their accomplishments. Number five, small ego leaders, they forgive freely. No one ever becomes a great leader without being hurt by those they're attempting to lead. Number six, they can lay down their idea even if convinced their idea is right or preferable. Having good ideas rejected is one of the ways God shapes the leaders' lives. Number seven, they care about how their actions make other people feel. If you want to be a great leader, be sensitive to how you make others feel. The eighth sign of a small ego leader, they quickly accept responsibility for personal failure and mistakes. Great leaders don't make excuses. Number nine, they have determined to be a lifelong learner. Leaders read, they listen to other speakers, they ask questions. The 10th sign of a small ego leader is they strive to develop the ability to recognize need and hurt and pain in others. If you want to be a great leader, learn how to read between the lines with people and pick up on things. Number 11, they are polite and considerate. Number 12, they expect more from themselves than they do from others. George Barna said, realize that a leader is called to a higher standard of performance than our followers. And then finally, number 13, the 13th sign of a small ego leader, they don't care much about personal recognition. All great leaders, they just want to get the job done as best they can. They want to be able to hear the Father say, well done, you good and faithful servant. If you want to be a great leader, concern yourself with the recognition of God, because people won't always give you the recognition you might need and want. So let me close this time by asking you, how's your ego? Are you a big ego leader or a small ego leader? And remember, the smaller the ego, the bigger the leader. Talk to you next time.